From the heart of Yerevan to all corners of the world, this is CivilNet's Daily News Digest for Monday, November 18th. I'm Paul Chaderjian.
And I'm Maria Titizian. In today's digest,
hundreds rally outside the ruling party's headquarters over what they fear are irresponsible and mandatory cuts in their pay.
Plus, with paychecks getting smaller, citizens are worried about the planned increase in gas prices.
And Checkmate, 4 dozen students try to be grandmasters.
Later, the latest music video from Ethio-Armenian Artist Vahe Tilbian. But in what language is he singing?
This was the gruesome scene of a fatal stabbing captured by photojournalist Gagik Shamshian. Blood spattered all over the walls and floor of an apartment in the Nor Arish neighborhood south of downtown Yerevan. There was more evidence outside, but what happened is still not clear. This all happened around Saturday night at 7 o'clock when a 24-year-old girl came out of that apartment bleeding. We don't know where she was stabbed, but she came out and went across the street and asked for the neighbors' help. The neighbors over here called an ambulance, and when the ambulance came, a 24-year-old girl and the man inside were rushed to the hospital. Police investigators were at the scene around 10 on Saturday night, but they won't say if what happened was a murder and attempted suicide, murder and self-defense, or if a third person was trying to kill both the victims.
All we know, the girl went into the home with the Indian student. We don't know what they talked about or what happened.
What we know so far is that one person is dead, a male victim with his neck slashed, a man police identify as Denish Dabu or Denish Den. His neighbors say Denish was from India and enrolled at a local university. He was one of an estimated 1,000-plus students who attend Armenian universities, a majority in medical schools. One of a handful times when an Indian student grabbed headlines in Armenia was when a 21-year-old fell to his death from his 6th-floor window. His friends took to the streets to protest what they call apathy by the state medical university where the student was enrolled. That student died while being transported to the hospital. Denish also lost his fight for life in an ambulance on its way to Erepuni Hospital. Neighbors tell me he had moved into the apartment, a stone's throw from the Nor Arish Polyclinic and Central Military Hospital, less than 2 weeks ago. The woman identified as Chaderjian was taken to the hospital, also with injuries to the neck.
2 ambulances came when our neighbor Rafi called for help. One took the girl, and the second one took the guy. The neighbor also called the police at Erepuni station, and they came to investigate the scene.
Photojournalist Shamshian says police found several blood-soaked knives at the scene. One of them was broken. A Facebook search reveals that the alleged female victim graduated from university in the city of Agra in India. It's not known what her relationship was to the male victim. Was this a lover's quarrel turned violent, a crime of passion? Was it self-defense, a murder-suicide? Or was this a hate crime because the Indian was dating an Armenian woman? CivilNet reached out to the police department as well as the Indian ambassador to Armenia, but our calls were not returned. The new privatized pension plan is set to go into effect at the beginning of the year, but many citizens don't think it's fair for the government to cut their pay between 6 and 13%.
In addition to opposition to mandatory pension contributions, there's also worry whether the government can guarantee a private third party's pension payments when people retire. All those concerns were supposed to be on the table on Friday when a special session of the National Assembly was scheduled to talk about the new pension plan and whether to delay its launch. The special session was initiated by a signature collection by lawmakers from the Prosperous, Heritage, Armenian National Congress, and the ARF Tashnaktutun. But the ruling Republican Party parliament members prevented the debate by boycotting the session. Parliament didn't have a quorum to convene. Meanwhile, hundreds of citizens were protesting outside the National Assembly. When they found out that the session did not take place because of the boycott, those protesting the new pension system marched from the National Assembly to the Republican Party headquarters. Several hundred joined the protest march along the route.
A second protest had people rallying against increasing utility rates. The Public Utility Service Regulatory Commission decided last June to increase gas and electricity prices. A civic initiative called Let's Prevent Gas Price Increase organized a petition signing event on Friday, November 15th at Liberty Square, asking all those opposed to the rate hikes to come and present their IDs and sign a petition calling for an open, transparent, and impartial hearing. Since July 7th of 2013, natural gas prices have increased by 18%, becoming 156 dirhams or 38 cents per cubic meter. Electricity increased by 27%.
On to financial news now. Armenia's economic growth will fall to 4.1%, down from the projected 6.2%. Member of Parliament and Chair of the Parliamentary Commission on Financial Credit and Budgetary Affairs, Gagik Minasyan, who is also a member of the ruling Republican coalition, said this late last week. Minasyan blamed the slowdown on global economic trends and domestic developments, particularly the slump in our country's construction sector, which registered a decline of 8.6%. Year-end inflation is expected to grow to 7.4% instead of the projected 4%. Minasyan added that the rise in consumer prices is due to an increase in prices of food and non-food products and services, particularly by a rise in the prices of natural gas and electricity.
Last May, Armenia's Foreign Minister Eduard Nalbandian began his 6-month chairmanship of the Committee of Ministers of the Council of Europe. This was the first time for Armenia taking the chairmanship after our accession to the Council of Europe in January of 2001. After concluding its mission at the Council of Europe's 123rd session in Strasbourg, Armenia handed its chairmanship to Austria for the next 6 months. During the handover ceremony, Minister Nalbandian said that the chairmanship has been an important task and responsibility for Armenia. He also said, quote, "The priorities as well as objectives of the Armenian chairmanship were defined in response to the challenges that the Council of Europe member states are facing today with regard to the protection of human rights, the further strengthening of democracy, and respect for the rule of law." During its chairmanship, Armenia brought its contributions to strengthening the capabilities of the organization and to maximizing the efforts in addressing the challenges in the Council of Europe's field of excellence, with specific focus on the most pertinent and pressing issues. End of quote.
The last several weeks have been particularly tragic and deadly for the Armenian community in Syria. On November 14, a rocket attack near a bakery in the Munshie district of Aleppo resulted in the death of an Armenian man, Gevorg Bogosyan. The blast injured scores of others. Earlier on November 13th, Villaner district of Aleppo, populated mainly by Armenians, was also subjected to a rocket attack, resulting in injuries of 5 Armenians. The war that has been raging in Syria since March 2011 has taken a heavy toll on the people of Syria. According to the United Nations, more than 100,000 people have been killed, 2.8 million have become refugees, and 6.5 million Syrians are considered internally displaced since the beginning of the conflict.
The Republic of Georgia's newly elected president, Georgi Margashvili's inauguration ceremony took place on November 17th. Among the dignitaries and guests that attended, Russia was not there. According to the Georgian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 70 invitations were sent out for the ceremony. However, Russia didn't receive one. The former Georgian President Edvard Shevardnadze and Mikhail Saakashvili were among the invitees. Lithuania's President Dalia Grybauskaitė, the President of Austria, the Deputy Speaker of the Czech Parliament, the Foreign Ministers of Romania and Kyrgyzstan were also present.
The European Team Chess Championships have been taking place in Warsaw, Poland, and will conclude today, November 18. Armenian Grandmaster Levon Aronian, who is heading up the Armenian men's chess team, and Grandmaster Elina Danielyan's women's team are among the top contenders for the title. We'll have more on the results in our tomorrow's digest.
A new chess school has just opened its doors in the Davitashan suburb of Yerevan, adjacent to school number 192. The school is fully equipped and will accommodate 48 students. Yerevan Mayor Daron Markaryan and the director of the Chess Academy of Armenia, Simpard Laputyan, took part in the opening of the school. Markaryan said that chess schools will be opened in all administrative districts of Yerevan thanks to the cooperation between the municipality of Yerevan and the Armenian Chess Academy. The mayor also visited the suburb of Ajapnyak, where another chess school is under construction. All chess schools will be free of charge. In 2011, Armenia's Ministry of Education made chess mandatory in all primary schools. Today's exchange rates are up on your screen as we take a look at the forecast.
It'll be partly cloudy in Yerevan with a high of 13 and an overnight low of -1.
In Gyumri, the overnight low will be -3 with a high of 5. In Artsakh, the capital city of Stepanakert, we will have a high of 9.
And today's travel forecast takes us to Ethiopia, where 40 Armenian genocide orphans were adopted by King Haile Selassie to form the first imperial orchestra. The legacy of those orphans lives through their descendants and other Ethio-Armenians in Addis Ababa, including artist Vahe Vahe Tilbian, who sung Yena Tizita, sounds like my last name, you're listening to. The song title means My Memory in English. Vahe combines Armenian, Amharic, and English and combines the cultures in his new album titled Mixology.
But you know what? We forgot to say what degrees the forecast in Addis Ababa will be. But you saw it on the screen.
It's okay.
That is our digest for this Monday. By the time you watch this broadcast in the United States, my partner in crime will be in Turkey.
That's right.
For an assignment there.
And by the time I get back, Paul will then be heading off to Los Angeles to be one of the co-hosts of the All-Armenian Fund Telethon. And then together we are going to be at the ANCA Grassroots Conference, again in LA, that takes place from November 29 to December 1st.
So we're not going to be here together for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I'll be taking over until Paul goes and I come, so don't be surprised if you see only one of us next time.
You'll be in good hands. We'll see you next time on CivilNet.
I will love you forever.